أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فلما استيئسوا منه خلصوا نجيا قال كبيرهم ألم تعلموا أن أباكم قد أخذ عليكم موثقا من الله ومن قبل ما فرطتم في يوسف فلن أبرح الأرض حتى يأذن لي أبي أو يحكم الله لي وهو خير الحاكمين. So you remember the last bit, the ayat before this was when they requested that one of them, the brothers, be kept as hostage while Binyamin has been freed, as he is very dear to his father, and the father is weak and frail, has been longing for him, and there was a promise they made. So when they had despaired, Yusuf alayhi salam does not accept this idea. He said that then I'll be committing oppression. So when they became despaired of him, they secluded themselves in private consultation. The eldest of them said, do you not know that your father has taken upon you an oath by Allah, and that before you failed in your duty to Joseph? So I will not leave this place until my father permits me, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides something for me, and he's the best of the judges. So who said this? There are different opinions. So some says with Yehuda, the Judah, who was the oldest brother of some old. And some said he was not the oldest, Yehuda, but rather he was most senior or most knowledgeable among them, but Allah knows. Others says were Rubel, who was the oldest one. And he is the one who suggested that Yusuf alayhi salam be thrown in the well rather than being killed. Someone else said that perhaps Shamun was the oldest one, but he definitely was very strong physically and in rank as well. But anyway, so the statement, and we do not testify except what we knew. Oh, so this is coming after the. This should be 1 second. Yeah, actually, this slide shouldn't be there. It is after the next statement. Where's that bit gone? Yeah. These two ayats. So he said, Irji'u ila abikum faqulu ya abana inna ibnaka saraq. Irji'u ila abikum faqulu ya abana inna ibnaka saraqa wa ma shahidna illa bima alimna wa ma kunna lil ghaybi hafidhin. He said, you all return to your father and say, O our father, indeed your son has stolen, and we did not testify except to what we knew, and we were not witnesses of the unseen. واسأل القرية التي كنا فيها والعير التي أقبلنا فيها وإنا لصادقون. And ask the city in which we were and the caravan in which we came, and indeed we are truthful. So this is what they said to their father, because they are obviously quite clear that this time they haven't made any mistake, and they have done the promise, and they knew their dad is not going to like it, which is fair because they did this second time. And then here they say, we do not testify except what we know. So it suggests that in our transaction, in our contracts, you do not actually take responsibility of what you can't cover, something which is beyond your human capacity. So although they had the pledge, they made a contract that we will bring him back. But the incident that took place, it is completely out of their control. So here they're saying what they're saying is fair and just a right comment. And this is the beauty of Sayyidina Yaqub alayhi salam's statement when he said, "Illa an yuhata bikum," that you make a promise with me, you give me the assurance that you would bring him back, unless you are overwhelmed, unless you are just surrounded with the calamity, with the trouble time, because anything can happen. Accidents do happen. So when we do these transactions, when we deal with people, whenever you speak to them, keep the exceptions. Keep the idea that, yes, although I'm saying it like this, but never become so firm on that, because many a time we claim to be something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala trials us with completely opposite to that. Just recently, I had a phone call yesterday from a brother who had been in trouble with his wife of about 13, 14 years. And he wanted me to come and witness that he would want to divorce his wife. Now the wife has been begging, and yet the man wouldn't listen to anything. He said, "No, I have made up my mind. I'm not going to move at all." And no, not at all. Took an hour and a half to only say, "Okay, do only one, so that if you regret, you can come back." And he was so clear that no, not at all. He already planned to move out, and also has clear plan about marrying someone else. And yet, obviously, we could only advise. And then when we left, he then subsequently divorced the second time, then the third time. And now a year later, he contacted saying that he's completely ruined and he is feeling very sorry and upset about it. And he wants to go back. SubhanAllah, you can't do that. You're given enough chances to think about it, but you became arrogant from that aspect and didn't listen to anything. So now you have to live with it, unfortunately. But this is what happened when you. So now he's begging the wife to get back. Obviously, she can't. So there we are. So never ever claim something that you can't deliver or cope with. We're human beings, we're so weak. To the point, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the battle of Uhud, when Khalid ibn Walid was from the enemy side, the leader of those horsemen, he maneuvered in such a way that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, 50 people troop that was stationed on that hillock to guard Muslims on this side, and some of them did not obey the commander when they saw Muslims being victorious, and then they started gathering the war booty. So they wanted to rejoice and join that party and then listen to their leader. So out of 50, about 33 left. So only few were there. And Khalid ibn Walid, radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he seized that opportunity and attacked from the other side. Now the Muslims who were busy collecting the war booty, they were squashed between the army of Khalid on horses on this side, and they killed all the Sahaba. They got all martyred on the hill. Those who were there stationed in kept on being there. And those who were running away from this end returned back when they found out that Khalid has tackled them and been attacking them from behind. So Muslims were literally squashed between enemies from two sides, both sides. And 70 Sahaba got martyred in that. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was hurt badly to the point that they actually raised the rumor that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away. Such chaos, complete something you initially won, a battle that you won, that you lost afterward. It became that 50-50 both ways because they did not do what they wanted to do. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala supported Muslim at that point, and they all fell asleep, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala held them and they returned back without causing more damage. Now this is where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he was cleaning his face, rubbing his face, wiping the blood off his face, he looked at that and said, how could a nation, how could someone who has tortured their prophet be successful? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed in the Quran, it's not up to you. Allah decides. And this is what happened, that Khalid ibn Walid became Muslim, and he became the sword of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So even for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't allow someone to claim something in absolute terms. We should always keep exceptions. So what about us? And obviously when it happens to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it was there for us to learn from. Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he is there to become a role model. And they have to go through all those things so that everything is recorded nicely and experienced by the people around. It has to manifest in action by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Otherwise, this would all be something in book, that's it. So whatever is appropriate for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would make it manifest on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. For example, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as human could forget. So he had episodes and issues where he forgot, the times when he forgot whether he prayed 3 or 4 rakat, 2 or 3 rakat. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as a prophet and human being as well had the possibility of getting affected by illnesses. So he got ill. Eating and drinking, he did that. Marrying, he did that. But obviously there are certain things which is not compatible with prophethood, so that never took place yet. To apply those rules practically, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose these Sahaba. And the Sahaba would do those actions to the extent that even one man, Ma'iz Aslami, radiallahu ta'ala, he got involved in adultery, zina, and he then was punished. Obviously, there was no witnesses at all, yet he confessed it. And when you have this confession, then you can be punished in the same way as if they had 4 witnesses, eyewitnesses. Anyway, Sahaba had to go through all those possibilities so that it becomes a living example for us, and we could just take heed and lessons from this. Anyway, so there should be no sense of disrespect for any of the action that you identify or read about in Sahaba's life, or na'udhu billah, having any bad feeling or ill feeling, looking down upon them, let alone on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When you find out something of that level, sometimes people do get this idea, oh my goodness, subhanallah, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, why did he say that? Well, this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala trained everyone. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes things for us. if he did everything the way it's been written down and there was no correction made, how would we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is actually actively involved? Rather, it will be seen as though Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is he's just doing autonomously. He's just on his own. He doesn't need anyone, because where's the evidence Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew it? It will only be known if we corrected him. And that's a wisdom behind, one of the wisdoms behind why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had to intervene and sort it out. Could there be a misintervention? Not at all, because Allah is perfect and there'll be no intervention which was supposed to be there and yet didn't happen. Okay, so there are many other reasons, but inshallah that will suffice. So yes, don't try to be self-centered and quite confident about yourself. So the testimony should be according to your knowledge. That's another very important point there. We see it's quite common that you hear something and you start promoting it and telling others about this as though it was something you know of or you've seen or witnessed. You just start narrating everything after listening to it from someone else as though you witnessed it, but you never did. So you can't do that. It is not right at all. Whatever you know, you can only go up to that. This is why when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked Hazrat Barira radiallahu ta'ala anha, the maid of Sayyidah Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, when Sayyidah Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha was slandered, he came to sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Barira said, "Oh Barira, you've been looking after as a maid, and you're obviously old in age, very old, elderly she was. Have you found any issues, any concern, anything that might point to the fact that Aisha might have been involved in any such thing?" Now, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam knew Aisha very well, and he knew Safwan ibn Mu'attal radiallahu ta'ala anhu, who was accused with Sayyidah Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha. So, yet he did not take upon him, he rather investigated in the best possible way. So Barira said, "Now that you ask me if I found anything in her, then I have to explain everything that I know." And then she said, "Wallahi, I have no problem whatsoever when it comes to her being just nice, perfect in every respect. The only issue is when she does make dough, she does not cover the dough properly. Because remember, their houses are like, small houses that they tend to be not very well sealed. And during the day, the doors would be open, windows would be open, and domestic kettles as well. So she said, my only concern with Aisha is that she does not cover the pot of dough after making it. We made it, and she would then not cover it properly, to the point that when I find out the next time or the next day, the dough has been eaten up by the goat we have indoors." Now, that's my only concern. So see, now Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not say anything for or against, because he did not know, he wasn't there. Barira, she's been asked, she knew whatever. So she said, I am going to share my comments about how Aisha is. So she did exactly what she knew about Aisha, and she found no faults other than this one fault, which according to her is because she is young. And we know that she was quite young. So she was like 13, 14 years, 15 years maximum. So that age, and obviously you would expect the girls to be a little bit at that point not mature enough to know that if I left it here and I've covered it, but might not have covered, I don't know how much the sheep could do or the baby goat could do. So maybe it would be fine, but it wasn't. So a couple of times that happens, obviously, she has to mention it. That's the beauty, that whatever you know, you just say it. Whatever you don't know, that's a problem. And many people do that, unfortunately, with regards to this, especially in janazah, another important aspect. You would see someone passed away in the family or neighborhood, the imam or someone from the community, the leader, who come and say, oh, subhanallah, what a nice man that person was. Amazing one, mashallah, may Allah bless him. All those special words of praise for the person who passed away. And then you ask him, do you know this person who passed away? So, no, never met him before. So why are you saying, well, I hope that you, as a Muslim, you must be good anyway. Na'udhu billah, you can't do that. You can't say bad thing about them, even if you knew something bad, as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam forbade us. But good things, only what you know of. You can't just make them into someone who they are not. And that happens a lot. So we should be very, very careful about saying things which are not, and this which are not known to us. So this is the uprightness. We must be very upright about what we say, and inshallah that would benefit, that will help us. Anyway, there was one quick ruling about, can the testimony be done by the blind man, or if you heard it, can it be? So that testimony is counted, but counted as I heard it from so-and-so, rather than I seen it. I'm not eyewitness. So you have to make it clear, and then yes, fine. And based on that, Imam Malik and his fiqh, the jurists would say you can take the testimony of a blind person, because blind person can't see, but he could observe. He could observe through listening, like he could understand it by hearing it from someone who witnessed it. So Imam Malik allowed it. Then he said, go and ask the people of city or the caravan coming with us. Ask them. So in a situation where people might suspect you, and there was a reason, so that's another important aspect to know, an important point. Suspicion is bad when it is nashi bila dalil, when it is there for no reason, when there is no reason for it to happen. You shouldn't be suspecting without a reason to believe so or suspect. Nashi, something which has come up, this suspicion has come up, and it dalil, with the dalil, with a reason, with some evidence, with some ideas. But this one, so what was the reason? What was the idea behind this suspicion of father that they're fearing? Because they have done the same in the past. They made a mistake last time. This time around, if they come and say, you know what, we are innocent, we never had this in our mind, and we were completely pure, you can ask anyone. No, because you're saying it, but I have a reason to suspect, because what you did last time, I can't trust it. Why and how would I know that you were not the person who did this the first time? Although you're claiming so, that your claim against yourself doesn't have any weight. Now, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam once was returning back from the masjid, and he was going through an alley. Sayyidah Safiya radiallahu ta'ala anha. He noticed the two persons appearing on the other end. So they saw some shadow, they saw Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they knew that there was. So what they did, they still at a distance, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam called them. He told them that the lady was Safiya. He said, look at, this is your mother Safiya binti Huyay ibn Akhtab. And they were, Ya Rasulullah, yes, it must be. We can't suspect. It's impossible. We wouldn't suspect you. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the shaitan keeps seeping through the human body, maybe it drops a doubt in someone's heart. Now you imagine if that doubt was there and they started thinking about that and dwelling on that, and through that they started, na'udhu billah, hating Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, thinking that he was with some strange woman at night time, coming from where we don't know, type, suspicion the shaitan would try to create in our minds. Then what would happen to those men? They would leave faith. They would be disbelievers because they have rejected Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's innocence and his piety. So you do not believe in him. So this suspicion would cause that much of a problem. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, would he be affected by that? Yes, because he would not want his ummah, anyone from the ummah, to be thrown in hellfire by those sins. So he's protecting them. He's blocking the means for shaitan to come and insinuate and whisper in the mind. That's what we should be doing. Many a times we say, oh, it's not my problem. Let him think whatever he thinks. Let him carry on. Yeah, well, no, because if you have sincerity for the brother or the sister, you would like them to know so that they don't get into this trouble. Inshallah, we leave that there.